Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to your home for tutorials, strategy, player profiles, history reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. Thanks for joining our replay of the 2019 Mets season using Deep Drive Baseball. We are at game 73. Mets are about 4 games behind where they actually were, 3 to 4 games behind where they actually were in terms of the standings. We went on a long losing streak, losing 14 of 15 games. We've recovered somewhat, although we lost the first game of this series to the Atlanta Braves. And at this point, going through the cards to make sure everything's in order here. I've got for the hometown team, the Atlanta Braves, it's going to be Ronald Acuna leading off in center field, followed by Dansby Swanson, the shortstop. Batting second, batting third is Freddie Freeman, and the cleanup spot is the third baseman, Josh Donaldson. Batting fifth is the right fielder, Markakis. Sixth is Austin Riley. Seventh is Brian McCann. And then Ozzie Albies is in the eighth spot, and we're just making sure everything's in order here. Yeah, the same exact lineup as the first game. The only difference is the pitcher is going to be Julio Teheran. Julio Teheran was 10-11 with a 3.81 ERA in 33 games, pitched 174 innings, so held his own, put in his time. He's going to be facing Jacob deGrom, Cy Young Award winner, with a 2.43 ERA and 11-8 winning record. For the Mets, leading off is going to be Jeff McNeil, the visiting team. Batting second is Pete Alonso. Batting third is Robbie Cano, the second baseman. Batting fourth is Michael Conforto. Then it's Todd Frazier, batting fifth, the third baseman. Ahmed Rosario batting seventh, the shortstop. Carlos Gomez in the lineup today in center field. Thomas Nido at catcher, batting eighth, and Jacob deGrom batting ninth. And let's see. All right. We're right about to start. Just quickly looking to see if we can track down the ballpark card, which has eluded us, has suddenly mysteriously vanished off the table. I'm checking the floor. Don't see it there. It's not there. All right. It's behind the iPad here that I'm using, a 10-inch iPad, 9.8-inch, I believe, to keep track of the stats for me. Stats so far are very, very close to the actual stats of the players. So that's something I must mention, and I will be pulling all those stats very, very soon. When we hit the midpoint of the season, we're at game 73. So by game 81, I will be looking at the stats, and we'll take a closer look at the stats. Now, SunTrust Park is 0-4 as a home run, 5 is a fly to left, 6 and 8 are fly to center, deep center, and then 9 is a fly to deep right. The Atlanta Braves were 97-65. They were in first place in the NL East. So the way you play deep drive baseball, it's a 50-50 game, and then it has that ballpark interaction. Pitcher's card goes first. Well, it doesn't necessarily go first. It's 50-50, but you roll 3d10. That would be a 24. Then you roll a informational die, and that tells you what kind of an out it is, for example. So a 24 is actually a defensive result. So let's look at the defensive chart here. The defensive chart, and we're going to re-roll to see if it's an error. It's a 43. That's going to fall outside of the error rating of 43 is a catcher. No, it's a pitcher result. And if Teheran's at least he's a 5. So a 5 is the best fielder you can get. So he feels a hard hit ground ball right back at him. And with plenty of time, throws to Freddie Freeman for out number 1. So score that a 1-3. McNeil grounds out. All right, Pete Alonso now. Now, every player has their own little deep drive section there, and the more power you have, of course, the more effective you're going to be in that chart. A 79er, and that's going to be right outside of defensive range. It's a fly ball to deep right field. Nick Markakis backing up on the track and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down. Next is Robbie Cano, third place batter. A 69. That's going to be off the pitcher's card. And high fastball blows it by Cano, and that retires the side. All right, it's Jacob deGrom on the mound facing Ronnie Acuna Jr. He's a right-handed hitter. That's an 87 off deGrom, and that's a ground ball to the third baseman. Slow grounder, and rushing at it is Frazier. Throw to first, and just gets Ronnie Acuna hustling down the line. Dansby Swanson, right-handed batter. Here's the pitch from deGrom. 75, and that's strike 3. So rings up Swanson, 2 up, 2 down. Freddie Freeman, third place batter. He's a left-handed batter, and that's a chopper to short. And Rosario rifles it to first and gets Freeman. 3 up, 3 down. Go to top of the second. Plays very fast. It's got a lot of nuance. It tells you if they're slow grounders or hard grounders. That's a 34. And a 5 is a hard hit grounder right at the shortstop. Dansby Swanson with plenty of time gets Conforto 6-3. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Todd Frazier. Pitch from Julio Teheran. That's foul back. Souvenir for a lucky fan. Foul again. 0-2 the count against the Todd father, right-handed hitter. 52. Uh-oh. That's a deep drive. Gets a hold of one. Drives it deep to left field. Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna converge on the track, and it's off the wall. That's going to be a double for Todd Frazier, a 1-out double. And Frazier's at second base. Ahmed Rosario, the batter. Now we're going to roll the 20-sided die to see if there's a wild pitch or a pass ball. Hey there, who's that? Tribe fan. Don't see you very often, my friend. It's good to see you. Welcome to Tribe Fan. Has a great channel, does a lot of Colorado stuff, and I listen to him on my way to work. He does the recaps of his Colorado, I think it's the 2018 season, I believe you're replaying, correct? Colorado Rockies. I believe that's his favorite team, Tribe Fan. Or maybe not. I don't know. One of his favorite teams, Ahmed Rosario. That's a 57, and that's line base hit to left. Todd Frazier, with only 1 out, is going to have to stop at third. Not going to try to score him here. Although we could, but going to be a little bit conservative. Carlos Gomez. Going to roll that 20-sided die. We're playing deep drive baseball. You can try it out for $1, or you can really, throw caution to the wind and buy the whole 2019 season for $12. It's PDF only, though. I have to offer that disclaimer. PDF only. Here's the pitch. Oh, that's foul back. Carlos Gomez, 32. A 32 is going to be a defensive result. And I have my charts 32, and I rolled away a second. That's a 92. We're gonna look at the range play chart, and that's gonna be a ball that's blooped into center field. Rushing in is Acuna and doesn't get there. Drops in front of him. Scoring is Todd Frazier, and with 1 out, Ahmed Rosario is just gonna make it to second base. Had to make sure. It looked like there was gonna be a catch out there, so Ahmed went 3/4 of the way and made it into second base. So Carlos Gomez picks up a clutch single, drives in a run. Mets are up 1-0. Thomas Nido, the batter. Here's the pitch from Teheran, and that's a 13, and that's strike 3. Nido down swinging. Jacob deGrom, who can hold his own with the bat. And that's a 13, and that's strike 3, and that retires the side. So back-to-back Ks by Julio Teheran after giving up that run. We go to the bottom of the second. It's going to be Josh Donaldson at 26, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout for deGrom. Next is Nick Markakis, and that's a hard grounder to second base. Cano on a hop whips it over to Alonso for the out. A little bit of crowd noise in the background. It's a little bit quiet. It seemed like a cemetery here. Austin Riley with 2 outs, bottom of the second. 95, and that's a fly ball. Shallow center field. Carlos Gomez coming in, settles under it, and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down for Jacob deGrom. Jeff McNeil, the flying squirrel, leading off here in the top of the 3rd inning. Yeah, Tribe fan. I'm glad you mentioned that because I had enough with last place teams when I played the 79 Mets and lost over 100 games. And it was really a real mental and physical and emotional challenge to roll those games, knowing that, hey, I'm going into a series, I'm probably going to lose 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 every single time. So from that point on, I'm starting to pick teams that can win once in a while, because in baseball, you don't win all the time. You're going to lose. Even with the best teams, you're going to lose 1 out of 3 games. So and that's enough losing for my brain. So yeah, that's the deal with that. So and by the way, Arenado, I have him on my one of my dynasty. I play in these dynasty leagues, keeper leagues, where you have a draft, and I have Arenado. I extended his contract for 1 year because I'm going to allow him to go back on the market, because I think I can get him cheaper back on the market than if I had extended his contract. His contract was so high up there that I basically extended it for 1 year, but I wasn't going to do it for 3 years, because I can get him cheaper. If I let him become a free agent, I can negotiate with him and get him back probably at a much more affordable rate, and that allows me more money to get more pitchers, and to basically bolster my pitching staff, which is one of the issues that I think every team in any of these leagues has, is the pitching staffs, where you have a lot of starters going 6 innings, and then you need a big bullpen. But things are going to change this year. Things are going to change this year with the new rules. There's the rules of the lefty. For pitchers, relief pitchers have to go at least 3 batters. Then you have the rules that limit the size of the roster in September to 28. So I figure it's going to be better for tabletop gaming, in that there won't be that number of 50 players, 50 carded guys that you need to do an actual replay. Now, Deep Drive Baseball offers you every single player. Cards are extremely easy to read. As you can see, there's a lot of space between everything. It's not all bunched together. So it's very simple to read. It plays very, very fast. As you can see, I recommend you taking a closer look at this game. You can try it for $1 with the World Series teams. I think they have some sort of promotion right now going on. So you got to check that out. Deep Drive Baseball, you can look that up. And it's a fun game. It's exciting because the deep drives are either, extra bases or flyouts. So you can kind of hit a ball. Once you're in the deep drive section, you can drive a ball to deep right center field, and back goes, the left fielder and the center fielder, and to the track, and that's gone. Or catch on the wall, by the wall, or on the track, that sort of thing. So that's a deep drive little mini chart that every player has on his card. It is a 50-50. Some guys don't really, embrace that system. Really, ultimately, it's about percentages, and I look at the big picture a little bit more now. After hearing countless discussions about it, I get the objections to the 50-50 system, but I also understand that, hey, really, ultimately, it's about percentages. And by bringing in a good pitcher, it may not be off his card, but really the batter's percentage of getting a hit was lowered overall. So in the end, it works out. And that's really what we're doing here. Baseball is a game of percentages. It's a game of cybermetrics. So, yep, that's the story. Jeff McNeil's batting about 360 in our replay. Now, he batted 320 in reality. And you always got those outliers, Malcolm, what's his name? Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book, Outliers. You always got those outliers, right? Those guys that bat 20, 30 points higher than they're supposed to, and those other guys that bat 20 or 30 points lower than they're supposed to. And I don't, freak out about it. I think you get that in any game. And in a replay that you don't get that, I think you're just lucky, really. So I've gotten that with Strat, I've gotten that with APA, I've gotten that with Status Pro, I've gotten that with all my replays, payoff pitch. There's one guy that does much better than he should, and then the guy that does, for example, my 79 Mets replay was Lee Mazzilli, who batted 303 in reality, but he was up about around 325 the whole season. So he batted about 20 points higher, and so on and so forth. And that's, I think, the nature of the beast when we play these games. So it's Jeff McNeil against Julio Teheran. Let me show you how quickly this plays. And that's once you learn at 67, that's strike three. McNeil strikes out, something you don't see very often, by the flying squirrel. He's a contact guy, swings at that first pitch. And Pete Alonso, let's see if we get a home run out of him. And that's a deep drive by Pete Alonso. And this has a good chance of going out. And that ball is, caught at the track by, let's see, where is SunTrust Park, a 96. Yep, that is caught by the right fielder, right with his back to the wall. Nick Markakis got back there quickly and just did not carry over the fence. So a deep fly for Pete Alonso. That's 2 up and 2 down. And finally, it's Robbie Cano, a left-handed batter. That's a 57, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Now, Robbie Cano, one of my favorite players, was my favorite player with the Yankees. Once he left the Yankees, I kind of moved away from watching the Yanks. I was a little bit disappointed. They've done that to me a few times in my history. I'm originally a Yankee fan. Later on, I became more of a Met fan, simply because of my son and I had shared some experiences at Citi Field, and it just became something that kind of was nostalgic for me. Michael Conforto with 2 out and Robbie Cano at first base. Robbie Cano gets a throw from Julio Teheran, a calling card throw, because Robbie Cano is no threat to steal. And here's the pitch to Conforto, a 79, and that's a ground ball to Freeman. Freeman is going to race Conforto to the bag, and that retires the side. Quick inning. Brian McCann. Here's the pitch from Jacob deGrom, a 59. Strike 3. McCann goes back to the bench. Ozzie Albies, I'm replaying the 82 Cardinals. A 74 and a 0, and that's strikeout. 0 had nothing to do with that. And now we have Julio Teheran's batting card. We need that. So let's see if we can grab that. I thought I had that somewhere. There it is. So you get a batting card for almost every pitcher in this game as well. So that makes your life much easier. And I separate my stacks of cards into hitters and pitchers, and I kind of put the guys that are being used in the series on top. It makes it much easier for me. A 38, a 2, and that's a comebacker to deGrom, and he feels it, throws Teheran out, and that retires the side. We go to, so that was 1 whole inning. That's pretty quick. Todd Frazier leading off against Julio Teheran, a 46 and a 5. That's a hard hit ground ball at the shortstop. Swanson backhands it, long throw to first, and in time. 1 away. Grounding out is the Todd father, Todd Frazier. Ahmed Rosario's next. That's a 72, and that's a strikeout. Rosario goes down swinging. Carlos Gomez, who singled in the only run earlier in the game, and this is a chopper to first. Freeman's going to flip to Teheran, covering 3-1, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. Next is deGrom versus Acuna, the top of the order, Acuna, Swanson, and Freeman. That is a 0-4, and that's a deep drive by Acuna. And back goes the Carlos Gomez in center field, and that ball is gone. Carlos Gomez had no chance, looked up, turned around, looked up, and said, I'm not getting to that. And that's a 2-1 lead. Ronnie Acuna busts the fence here at SunTrust Park with that home run. And Dansby Swanson next, the pitch from deGrom. That's a 46. The ball game is tied at 1 apiece. I don't know what score I gave. 46, and that's a 3, and a ground ball to Alonso. He's going to take it himself. 3 unassisted. Next is Freddie Freeman, the pitch from deGrom, a 71. That's a strikeout. That retires the side. deGrom gives up a run. The game is tied. Top of the 5th, Thomas Nido leading it off. 0-1. That's a deep drive off Nido's card, and that's a 49. That ball is going to be 1 hop to the wall. Wait a second. I have Donaldson here with 2 outs. My fault. I switched too quickly. A 40, that was a deep drive, and a 49 is going to be gone. Donaldson drives one over the left center field fence, and the game, the Braves have taken a 2-1 lead. Nick Markakis now. 2 home runs given up here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 solo shots by Jacob deGrom. 35 is a 3, and that's a hard hit ground ball. Todd Frazier backhands it, long throw to first in time, and that retires the side. But the Braves has taken the 2-1 lead with the 2 solo shots, one by Acuna and one by Donaldson. All right, Thomas Nido's leading it off. A 45 and a 0 is a line out to the 3rd baseman, Donaldson. So it's L5 if you're scoring at home. Jacob deGrom at the, that's foul. Pulled foul. And a 59er, and that's ball 4. So the Mets have a base runner. Jacob deGrom is on at first base. Now we're going to start rolling that 20-sided die. Oh, a 1. That's a potential wild pitch. A 26, see what it says. 26 says wild pitch if you're a D or an F, and Tehran is a C, so no wild pitch. It's blocked by Brian McCann. I'm going to throw that again. It's a 2. Jeff McNeil. Here's the pitch in 87, 80 and then 7. That's a fly ball right field. Shallow right. Markakis towards the line. Settles under it, makes the catch. Gets the ball in quickly. Pete Alonso next. Pete Alonso, great power, hit 53 home runs. And that's a deep drive off of Tehran's card. And Alonso drives it deep to center field. Let's see what happens here. Mets could take the lead, and that ball is over the fence. Pete Alonso connects. And the Mets now lead it by a score of 3-2. 2-run shot by Pete Alonso. Took that Julio Tehran fastball over the center field fence, and there was nothing Acuna could do about it. Robbie Cano. Here's the pitch from Robbie Cano, a 91. And that's off Tehran's card, a 0. That's lined and caught by the leaping Dansby Swanson. So Cano hits it right on the screws for the 3rd out, but right into the glove of Dansby Swanson at short. Mets lead it by a score of 3-2 on a 2-run shot by Pete Alonso. We go to Austin Riley, the left fielder, leading off here. He's a 6th place hitter, followed by McCann and Ozzie Albies. Oh, and that's pulled foul. And a 67, that's a strikeout. So Riley goes down swinging. Brian McCann, a 0-4. That's line base hit to right. Getting it in quickly is Conforto. McCann is on at first. Start rolling those 20-sided die. And a 65, and that's a strikeout. Slider gets Albies. 2 out, 1 on. And Julio Tehran, a 25, is a strikeout, and that retires the side. We go to the top of the 6th. Michael Conforto leading it off against Julio Tehran. That's a 66, and a 66 is a strikeout. So Tehran blows a fastball by Conforto. Next is the Toddfather, 0-2. That's a deep drive. Toddfather gets a hold of one, drives it deep to left field. Riley to the track, to the wall, and 79. It's off the wall, and the Toddfather in with a 1-out double. Throw to second, not in time. Ahmed Rosario. Julio Tehran versus Ahmed Rosario here with the Toddfather on at second base. There's 1 out here in the top of the 6th. The Mets lead it by a score of 3-2. That's a 0-0. And let's do that. And that's going to be a deep drive off Ahmed's card in the gap, left center field gap. Let's see what happens. A 74, and that's going to be one hop off the wall. That's going to score Todd Frazier 4-2 now. And in at second with a RBI double is Ahmed Rosario. So there's some movement in the Atlanta bullpen right now. Julio Teheran, 4-2, top of the sixth, one out. Ahmed at second base, Carlos Gomez, and we're going to do that. And that's a 73, and that's strike three. Gomez down swinging. Thomas Nido. Pitch to Thomas Nido, a 73, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning. But the Mets pick up a one run, and they lead it by a score of 4-2 now. Jacob deGrom versus Acuna. I'll give you some information. The way you do the endurance, Teheran should be pulled sooner, but you never know. Teheran has a 9, and deGrom has a 10. So right now, deGrom has gone once, right at home run, once around the lineup. And then he is also, let's see, let's quickly take a peek at this here. No, deGrom has gone twice around, giving up a run. That's 3 points. He's got 10 points, and he's got 6 innings. So he's got one more point. He's going to face Ronnie Acuna. Here's a pitch. 72, strike 3. Ronnie Acuna goes down swinging. Dansby Swanson, 97 and a 5. That's a hard hit ground ball at Cano. Oh, nice play by Cano, and throws out Swanson. Freddie Freeman, 2 outs, 49, and that's an 8. That's a fly ball, shallow left field. McNeil racing in and gets there, and that retires the side. All right, Teheran, let's check Teheran's numbers. Teheran has gone around the batting order twice. This is almost his third time, so that's 2 times. Giving up a run, that's 3. He's pitched 6, that's 9, and that's going to be it. He's used up all his points. So we're going to pull Teheran. We're going to take a quick peek at the actual box score, because on my right I have a laptop open with Baseball Reference. It gives me everything I need to know. And in this game, Toussaint came in. So we're going to bring in Toussaint right away, who's batting for the Mets. It's the pitcher, so it doesn't really matter. And then we got a lefty and a righty. So we're going to bring in Toussaint to at least pitch to Alonso. Touki Toussaint, I'll tell you a little bit about Touki Toussaint. He's a 23-year-old, had a 4-0 record with a 5.62 ERA, fairly elevated ERA, and that's being extremely conservative to say that. He kind of had a horrid season, 24 games. A whip was 1.6. Jacob deGrom steps into the box. Here's the pitch from Toussaint. And that is going to be, what is that, a 94 and a 6. That's a hard ground ball to Swanson. Swanson rifles to first. Low throw, scooped by Freeman. 1 up, 1 down. Jeff McNeil. The pitch to McNeil, a 53. That is line base hit to right for McNeil. He's on at first. Now it's Pete Alonso. And an 84 is a defensive check. Defensive check, a 51. That's going to be in the range section. That's a ground ball, slow ground ball to the second baseman, who rushes in for it and throws out Alonso. McNeil moves over to second. So it's a 4-3, a slow grounder. Great thing about this game, it'll tell you, hey, that's a dribbler or that's a hard hit ground ball. So you always have that additional, color, right, nuance in the game. It gives you deep fly balls. It gives you shallow fly balls. So, and it does it in a very, very simple way. So it's a very cool game. I can't really stop playing it. It reminds me somewhat. It's a mix. It's got a lot of nuance. That's all I can tell you. I mean, you get righty lefty splits that have a big effect on your strategy particularly towards the end of the game. That's when we really think about that. You got that going. You got the all the different types of grounders and fly balls that it tells you. It's got the little deep drive chart that makes it fun. It adds a lot of drama to the fly balls. The deep fly ball, is it a home run? You don't know, but it's definitely got a hold of it and drove it. So Robbie Cano with 2 outs and McNeil at second base. And we're going to bring in a lefty here. We're going to bring in A.J. Minter. He's a lefty specialist, and that's going to give him a big advantage against Robbie Cano. That's one of the things that you can do in this game. We are in the top of the 7th, so I start doing that sort of thing in the top of the 7th. I don't want to waste all my pitchers, so I don't start doing it very early. A.J. Minter, he's a lefty specialist who comes in to face Robbie Cano. Going to roll for a wild pitch. There's nothing there, and I'll show you how the advantage works for Minter. That's a 54. That's going to be a deep drive. Unfortunately, for Minter, this is such a bad number for him that you're going to subtract 50 from that, and it becomes a 0-4, and that's a deep drive. That's a deep drive off Cano's card. So Cano gets a hold of one, drives it deep to right center field, and that ball is gone. Robbie Cano, 2-run home run over the right center field fence. There was nothing Markakis or Acuna could do about that, and the Mets have scored 2 more, and they lead it by a score of 6-2 now. So A.J. Minter comes in as a specialist to face Cano, and it's an epic fail. A.J. Minter's in there now facing Michael Conforto, a 91. That's a 3. That's a ground ball to third base. Donaldson up with it and throws out Conforto to end the inning, but the Mets pick up 2 more on the 2-run shot by Robbie Cano. Jacob deGrom, he's still in, and he may have to get pulled. Let's see, he's gone 6 innings and plus been around the order only twice. So and plus giving up a run, so that's 3 plus 6, that's a 9. He still has 1 more inning. We can squeeze 1 more inning out of Jacob deGrom without falling into the fatigue zone. 48 and an 8, that is a fly ball, right field. Coming over is Conforto, makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. Mets lead at 6-2. Markakis, 53. That's line base hit to right for Markakis. Frozen rope to right off of the deGrom slider. And it's Austin Riley now with. And a 21 is a strikeout. Riley down swinging. So deGrom reached back for a little extra and strikes out Riley. Yeah, he just climbed the Andes to get out of that inning. But he's a lefty specialist, and that's why I brought him in. But no matter what, sometimes it doesn't really matter. You're going to allow the home run, but in many cases that'll be a big advantage for the relief pitcher. Brian McCann with 2 outs and Markakis on at first base. Here's the pitch from deGrom. We throw for a wild pitch. We don't get it. A 56, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Markakis is going to stop at second base. It's not going to challenge Gomez's arm. Ozzie Albies now. The tying run is on deck. And that's A.J. Minter. He'll be pinch hit for. Here's the pitch from deGrom. There's action in the Mets bullpen, and that's an 18, and that's ball 4. So deGrom walks the bases loaded, and there's going to be a pinch hitter now for A.J. Minter. Who's it going to be? Who are you going to call? You can get Joan Camargo, who's a lefty, or who else do we have as potential? Charlie Culberson's a right. Matt Joyce, who's a lefty specialist. So a lefty specialist versus a righty, I'm going to give him an advantage here. So we're going to bring in the lefty specialist. As a pinch hitter, it's going to be Matt Joyce. Matt Joyce batted .295 in 238 plate appearances with 7 home runs. Now, this is you got to consider bringing in a lefty and pulling deGrom here with the bases loaded, and a lefty specialist is going to have this advantage over the pitcher. And that's that 50-point advantage. Should we allow deGrom to go now? We've had some issues identifying lefty relievers for the Mets. None of them pitch in this game. Let's see the next game. See if we have a lefty in the next game. So Mets, for some reason, at this point in the season, stop using lefties. They have none available to them that I can see. Then the next game is going to be, Nagansek. Oh, Zamora's still around. All right, we're going to bring in Zamora. We're pulling deGrom here with the left-handed hitting Joyce, and we're going to bring in Zamora, a lefty specialist. That is going to give Zamora the advantage. And that's going to take it away from Joyce. And how are the Braves are now going to counter. The Braves are going to counter. Let's see. We bring in Zamora. Mets bring in Zamora, throwing his warm-up pitches. And now he's a lefty specialist. Getting called back now is Matt Joyce. And it's going to be Johan Camargo, who's going to come in to hit. Actually, we're going to get Charlie Culberson, who's going to have another advantage. He's a righty specialist. He's a righty specialist going against Zamora, and this is going to give him he's going to retake the advantage, the 50-point advantage. So no matter what the Mets do, and now Zamora has to pitch to at least one batter according to the 2018 rules. In 2019, Zamora would have to pitch to 3 batters. So this year is going to be fairly interesting. First, we're going to roll for the wild pitch. We don't get it. Culberson with a big advantage with the bases loaded. Charlie Culberson. And Culberson batted .259 in 144 plate appearances. Was hit in the face with a pitch toward, I'm not sure if it was a curveball, fastball. I think he was hit in the face, and he went down either at the middle of August or the beginning of September. So he missed a little while there. Bases loaded. Charlie Culberson. The pitch from Daniel Zamora, and that's a 23. That 23 is a strikeout, but we can, with the advantage because of the righty specialist, we can make that into a 73, and a 73 is a strikeout anyway, and that retires the side. So Danny Zamora comes up huge, retires the pinch hitter Charlie Culberson with the bases loaded. The Braves leave 3 runners, and we go to the top of the 8th. It's going to be a new pitcher for the Braves. Let's see who the Braves use. In this game, the Braves use Grant Dayton. So we should have Grant Dayton here. There he is. He's a lefty. But we have, who's up? Todd Frazier. We got righties coming up. So we're going to, Josh Tomlin, I believe, is another lefty. He comes in here as well. Oh, no, he's a righty. So we're going to bring in Josh Tomlin. So new pitcher for the Braves, Josh Tomlin, the righty. Josh Tomlin was 2-1 with a 3.74 ERA. He's going to be facing the Todd father, Todd Frazier. Here's the pitch. That's a deep drive off of Frazier's card, and a 64 is going to be one hop off the wall and into second base with his second double of the game is Todd Frazier. So Todd Frazier doubled once, doubled twice, double 3. Oh, no, double. Wait, I have that as a single. That's going to be a double. What? Single plus. Let me go back and redo that. I don't know why it didn't read it as a double for some reason. So he advanced. It's a double now. That was weird. Anyway, Todd Frazier with his 3rd double of the game. And it's Ahmed Rosario now. It's a 15. A 92, or it's a 90 plus a 2. That's a ground ball comebacker to Tomlin. And I'm going to have to check on the 1-3 if he moves on that. Let's see what the ground ball chart says. I know most of the results. With a runner on second and a batter thrown out, runner holds. So that's a batter thrown out, and the runner holds there with that comebacker to Josh Tomlin. So runner on second with 1 out, and it's Carlos Gomez. We'll roll the one-sided die for the wild pitch. This is a great game. It's a lot of fun. Plays easy. Once it got into my rotation here of games, I can't get it out. That's a 46 and a 7. A 46 and a 7 is a fly ball left field, left center field. Acuna over Riley makes the catch. And that's 2 down, and now we got Thomas Nido. They're going to walk Thomas Nido. No, you know what? They're going to face Nido. That's a 0-9. That's a strike 3. Tomlin strikes out Nido. That retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th is Ronnie Acuna. Let me drink some water very quickly here. Rick, how you doing? Good morning, Rick. I'm ready for tonight, brother. I'm printing out. I've been looking at the list for the draft for the IP inside pitch tournament league that we're playing in. And I'm going to be printing out all that so I can actually write on it as we go. And as guys are chosen, I can do all that. And I have a big whiteboard here, so I'm going to be putting up the names as we go. So I'll be able to track everything that's happening here in the commissioner's office. All right. So it's, excuse me. Let's see what Danny Zamora did. All right. So Danny Zamora came in at the end of that inning and got an out, allowed no runners on. So now, because of the rules, he's allowed to go 1 extra inning. But we got 2 righties and a lefty. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace Zamora. And who pitched in this game? This is game 73 of 2019. It was Robert Gazelman. And Robert Gazelman is a pretty good choice. He can hold his own as a right-handed pitcher, has a great slider. So Robert Gazelman, and he was key to that 2016 season for the Mets, where the Mets looked like they were out of it, but in the end, they were able to play in that 1-game wild card, which they lost 3-0 to the San Francisco Giants. And a lot of it was thanks to Robert Gazelman, who really stepped it up in August and September. So Robert Gazelman is going to come in to face Acuna, Swanson, and Freeman. Tell you a little bit about Gazelman. Gazelman was 2-3 with a 4.66 ERA in 52 games. In our replay, I'll just tap on his name using iScore. You just tap on his name, and it'll tell you. It tells me his ERA is 5.15, 37 innings pitched. So yeah, you know it's around more or less where it should be. Robbie Gazelman to Acuna. He's going to face Acuna, Swanson, and Freddie Freeman here in a 6-2 Mets lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, game 73. Here's the pitch from Gazelman. And that's a 64, and that's ball 4. So Gazelman walks the leadoff batter. Not a good thing. Going to roll the 20-sided die to see if we get the wild pitch. We don't. Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson struck out, grounded out twice. He's 0 for 3 today. An 81 is going to be a 5. Hard hit ground ball at the shortstop. Rosario flips to Cano. The relay to Alonso in time. 6, 4, 3. Double play. 2 outs. So Mets flashing the leather. Taylor-made double play. And it's Freddie Freeman against Gazelman with 2 outs, a 23. And that's strike 3, and that retires the side. Ended up being an easy inning for Gazelman with that double play and the strikeout. We go to the top of the 9th. It's Gazelman leading off, and we're going to pull him for a pinch hitter. Let's see who pinch hit in this game for the Mets. Try to be, faithful to the actual rosters. That's the only reason I do that. I won't always use the player. It depends on the game and the situation. We're going to get Lagares to come in. Lagares is no longer with the Mets, so out of nostalgia. He was with the Mets for years, about 6, 7 years. And he's no longer with the Mets. I heard that he was at the San Diego Padres camp. And we're looking for Lagares here. He's going to pop in there as a pinch hitter, righty pinch hitter. All right, against, well, we don't want to put him there. He doesn't go there. Josh Tomlin's still on the mound for, and Tomlin can go 2, so that makes our life much easier. 0-5. That's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. So the leadoff batter, pinch hitter Juan Lagares, is on at first. We're looking through the Mets card. There's a new guy that joins the Mets. His name is Nagasek. And he shows up suddenly in tomorrow's game. So we're going to pull his card and try to get him to pitch tonight. Unless, well, he can come in the 9th inning. Let's see. I didn't see him. So I should have every single player. And sometimes what happens when I print out the PDF, I won't print out one page where there's one player. And then I'll have to, there he is. I do have him. Nagasek is his name. Steven Nagasek. He was 0-1 with a 10 ERA, so I doubt he's going to go very long. But it's McNeil. We roll for the wild pitch pass ball. There's nothing there. The pitch is a 95 and an 8. The 95 and an 8 is a fly to left. Riley takes a step back, squeezes it, 1 away. Next is Pete Alonso. Alonso's got a home run in this game. He's 1 for 4. Here's the pitch. That's an 84, and an 84, a 9 is a fly ball center field, Acuna. 2 outs. And now it's Robbie Cano with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Mets are leading 6-2. So 21, and that's a defensive check. A 33 is going to be a potential error. 65, that goes to the third baseman, Donaldson, and that's going to be off his glove. Flashing on the scoreboard is E5, so that's going to allow Lagares to get to second base. So it's first and second. And let's just check his numbers quickly. He is a 3 third baseman, so that's an average third baseman. So he makes the error. First and second, E5. Ground ball to third that Donaldson should have handled. Bobbled it a second and couldn't get a handle to make the throw. So Robinson Cano is safe. Robinson Cano hit a home run earlier in the game. Michael Conforto now the batter. Conforto's 0 for 4. He's grounded out 3 times and struck out. And we're going to get a new pitcher, a lefty, is going to come in. It's going to be Grant Dayton to face Michael Conforto. Going to get him in there very, very quickly. We may have to write him in. I'm checking the roster, and he was never used in any of the games. So when that happens, I have to write him in. See how long it takes me. Grant, and it's Grant Dayton. He's a lefty. That's it. He's in there. So that's how easy it is using iScore. The problem with iScore, it doesn't simulate the season. So you don't have stats for all the other teams, and that's something that I'm really into now. And I'm using Replay Baseball for that. Michael Conforto, first and second, 2 outs. Grant Dayton, left-hander. Lefty versus lefty. We're going to roll that one-sided die, see if we get that 1, but we don't. Here's the pitch to Conforto, a 79, and that's strike 3, and that retires the side. So Conforto strikes out, and we go to the top of the 9th. I'm sorry, we go to the bottom of the 9th. It's going to be Josh Donaldson, Nick Markakis, and Austin Riley against Nagasek. Now, Nagasek is on a short leash here. He's got an 11 ERA, so we're going to see what happens. This is his first appearance as a Met. Steven Nagasek. Love the beauty of these actual replays is I get to play guys like Nagasek. I really, really like that because I kind of it generates, I don't know, a real excitement for me to know that this guy has really accomplished his dream. And even though I'm on a tabletop, it's still part of the experience. So that's a big part of doing these historical replays. I've had discussions with guys on forums about actual replay. Why would you do that? I mean, I want to be a better manager than the manager who actually was there that year. And I'm like, well, I like to recreate history. I like to relive games that I wasn't able to pay to see. I like to pretend I'm in the stands. I'm a fan, and I'm watching, the actual players perform more or less to their, ability. A great pitcher will do great things, and a great batter will do great things, and the reverse is true. And I like to that the historical aspect of the experience is what really gets me, and then the drama, the personal drama of a guy like Nagasek coming in. Who knows if this was his first time ever in the major leagues? I don't know. It may be. So this is definitely, if that's the case, I know he's very, very excited. He's got butterflies in his stomach, and he is really jubilant at this point that he's reached his childhood dream. He's accomplished his childhood dream of pitching in the major leagues, and he looks in for the sign. He's a right-hander. He's 24 years old. He was 0-1 with a 10.8 ERA. He appeared in 7 games for the Mets. And he's facing some major big league hitters here in Josh Donaldson leading off. It's a 6-2 lead. Mets, there's definitely some action in the Mets bullpen, so he's going to be on a short leash. That's going to be an 18 off Donaldson. That's ball 4. So Donaldson is on at first on a walk, and next is going to be Nick Markakis. He bats from the left side. He's 1 for 3 today. We've rolled that 20. See if we get that wild pitch, and there's nothing there. A 69er. 69er is going to be a ground ball and through the right side for a base hit. Stopping at second is Josh Donaldson. Now, one thing I would like to see, the great thing, if you play inside pitch, which you definitely should, inside pitch is an amazing game. Inside pitch grants players advantages for, to take the extra base. Like if you're on first base and there's a ground ball through to the right side, you're probably going to have an advantage. You're probably hustling, you're not waiting at all. It's not like a line drive or a ground ball to second to short. And it's going to give you an extra little plus to take that extra base and go first to third. And that's something that is lacking in deep drive, and I'd like to add it some way. So on balls to the right side, I would like to see grounders to the right side. I would like to see a little advantage for the runner to make it to third base, like a +1 or something, because it's the same difficulty pretty much if you hit it to left or if you hit it to right, which doesn't make much sense. I will talk to the designer about that. All right, so it's a 6-2 ball game. We're in the bottom of the 9th. It's Josh Donaldson walked, and then Markakis singled. And now we have Austin Riley coming up, and that's going to be it for Nagasek. So I'm going to take a quick peek and see if this was Nagasek's first major league appearance. Let's take a look at Nagasek in this game and just click on his name. On my right, I have a laptop that keeps – well, actually, he pitched in the following game. So we'll go there for that. I have Baseball Reference open on a laptop in my right, and this gives me all the information I would ever need. So – guys, if you want to play an actual experience, you got to kind of have that option available to you. You can't fit everything you're going to need on the cards. I know some designers have been trying to add things that help, tabletop gamers. This was his first season in the major leagues, so this is his first appearance in the major leagues here for me. In actuality, he appeared in tomorrow night's game. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. So let's see who we're going to bring in now. In the following game, the Mets, let's see. We already used up Gazelman. And in the following game, the Mets use Flexen and Zamora. Zamora I used, so I got Chris Flexen. Now, let me see if with the score of the following game was 7-2 Braves. You know what? I'm going to move one forward. to a closer game to see who the Mets use, and the Mets are going to use it versus the Cubs. They're going to use Font and, again, Pounders and Font. Wow. They're really struggling for pitchers right here. So I'm going to bring in Font, which is probably better than anybody else at this point. So Font's coming in. Font was 4-5 with a 4.48 ERA. The Mets don't have a very good bullpen. That's one of the things that really held them down. They were 10 games over 500 in 2019, but the bullpen blew a lot of games. 15 home runs allowed by Edwin Diaz in the 9th inning was tops in the league in that category. So Wilmer Font is coming in to face the righty Austin Riley with runners on first and second. That's a 17, no wild pitch. Here's the pitch. That's a 38 and a 2, and that's a slow grounder back to Wilmer Font. Wilmer Font's going to have only one play. Both runners advance, but he picks up an out. So there's one out, second and third, 1-3 if you're scoring at home. That's going to bring in the lefty McCann. Wilmer Font to McCann. A 16, and that is strike 3. McCann down swinging. Font with the high cheese. Blows one by Brian McCann. The Mets are 1 out away from winning this game. They're up 6-2. Runners on second and third. In the bottom of the 9th. Ozzie Albies now. He's a switch hitter batting from the left side. I'm going to throw that 20-sided die. A 1 will tell us that it's a wild pitch. All right, here goes. Albies pitch from Font. That's an 84, and a 3 is a slow grounder to Todd Frazier. He rushes in, picks it up barehanded, throw to first, out at first base. That's the ball game. Great play by Todd Frazier. Ozzie Albies hit a little nubber to third base, and the third baseman Frazier was on it, barehanded it, fired to first, and got Albies 5-3, and that's the ball game. The Mets win it by a score of 6-2. The bottom of the 9th was exciting there when the Braves got the first 2 runners on a walk and a single, but it was not meant to be. Jacob deGrom is going to get the victory. There's going to be a save here for Wilmer Font, who came in with the tying run on deck. That is what qualifies you for a save. So Wilmer Font's going to pick up a save, and the win goes to deGrom. The loss is going to go to Julio Teheran. The line score for this victory, Mets victory, was 6. The Mets had 6 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 7 left on base. The Braves had 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and 6 left on base. Let me quickly look at the scorebook for the Mets to just pick out any highlights. Pete Alonso hit a 2-run homer. He went 1 for 5. Jeff McNeil had a hit, went 1 for 5. Robbie Cano had 3 hits. No, 2 hits. He went 2 for 5, and he reached the third time on an error. Michael Conforto went 0 for 5. Todd Frazier had 3 doubles, 3 for 4, scored twice. Ahmed Rosario went 2 for 4. He had a single and a double. Carlos Gomez, 1 for 4. Thomas Nido, 0 for 4, struck out 3 times and lined out. deGrom was 0 for 1. And then later, pinch hitter Lagares. I may have had 2 pinch hitters. Let me see. I may not have written in both guys. Let me see. Oh, no. Okay. deGrom batted in the bottom of the 7th, so he went 0 for 2. And then a pinch hitter in the top of the 9th. I'm sorry, top of it was deGrom. I'm looking at the scorecard here, just making sure. And it was Lagares with a pinch hit single, went 1 for 1. So that's it for the Mets. We have one more game with the Braves, and then we go to a 4-game set against the Chicago Cubs. Again, Benny Blades is in the house. Welcome, Benny Blades. He's one of my senseis for inside pitch. Did help me a lot in learning that game. I love that game. Very excited about doing this. We're in a league, an inside pitch league, starting at 69. It's going to be a keeper league, and then we're going to go all throughout the 70s with the same players, mostly. There's a way you can protect certain players, and then there's a draft tonight at 7:30. And if you want to know anything about that Inside Pitch League, if you want to become a part of it, if you want to check out Inside Pitch the game, you can get a PDF for, I think, $15. They have lots of seasons, tons of seasons. And you can print out some teams and try to play it. It's a great game, easy to learn. A little bit of a learning curve on the base running, but it becomes intuitive once you give it a chance. It took me about, I'd say, 30 games to feel comfortable. So you can't play 3 games. I've heard guys say, I bought a set and I played 3 games and I hated it. I couldn't have figured it out. Okay, well, because you played 3 games. There's nothing wrong with you. It's the fact that you only played 3 games. You got to give it a chance. You got to ask questions. You got to talk to gamers. You got to watch videos, and you can learn all these games. We got tons of games. This is like the golden age of tabletop baseball games and any type of tabletop games. I think all the guys are now reaching, a time in their life that they have more free time on their hands. Their kids have grown, and they're kind of reaching the retirement age, and they have more cushy jobs that allows them a little bit extra free time, just because of the value that they bring to the organization that they work at, and they get they get some perks, and that translates into sometimes free time. And today, for example, I'll be playing all day. The next game is a Stratomatic 1982 World Series with a 82 classic set base. Well, it's the basic advanced set. Beautiful font on those cards. It's got blue on one side, black on the other. And that set is for sale. That's Stratomatic 1982. It's got the extra players. Benny Blades in the house, and he says, yes, I'll look into good 30 games with lots of questions as well. Yep. And just a reminder, the league IS is salary auction league. Rick says it's a salary auction league, and that's a great, great aspect of this. I love the salary aspect of it because it keeps guys having to really, weigh their choices. If they just, they have to walk in there and be under control. The auctions have a tendency to kind of swallow you whole. In the excitement of the auction, you're bidding, you want the guy, should I bid another $1? Shouldn't I bid another $1? How high should I go? So these are all questions. And then there's that euphoria, that high that you get from the auction, that you get lost and you have to get this player no matter what. And now the guy gets, way overpriced, and now you're stuck because you're down tons of money, you lost lots of salary on getting this one player, and now you have less money for other guys. So it's really, you got to be in control of your emotions during these auctions. It's a big part of it. It's very exciting. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning of a new league that's starting. It's going to be great. Starting with 1969, all the guys bought the cards from Inside Pitch. It's a great system. 99% of the results are off the cards. There's no charts. Same as this game. This game has minimal chart lookup. And you pretty much get the quick, and the way the charts are designed, it's very easy to look them up. There's only 2 charts in this game. There are 2 double-sided charts. I have them color-coded. Okay, so you can really there's a blue and a green. You can see that. And I know the green is everything that has to do with wild pitches, stolen bases, and range plays, and error plays. So when I look at both, instead of looking at 2 white charts, I look at a green and a blue chart, and I immediately grab the chart that I need. I don't have to look and see, what is this chart for? Anything that you do that moves you away from playing the game or rolling the dice is a distraction, slows you down, and breaks the rhythm. That's what these chart lookup games don't realize, that you're breaking the rhythm. IP has it down to a science. There's a couple of games. Payoff Pitch has it down pretty much to a science as well. I've played multiple chartless games with Payoff Pitch. But then Payoff Pitch is somewhat abstracted in certain areas. And so you lose some detail, some fine detail in certain areas, but it doesn't really affect the game. The game is a fun game. But in Inside Pitch, you actually
how they managed to incorporate additional detail that you don't see in any other game, and it's all card based, which is, amazing, mind blowing. That IP was able to add detail, beat every game in detail, but do it off the cards. So you don't have to have really very many chart lookups. So IP is outstanding. Mets win this game by a score of 6-2, and I'm thankful for all the guys who stopped by to say hello. My next game is going to be Stratomatic, and we're setting up for that. We're going to take a break, mental break, then come back and play a 1982 Stratomatic for a set that's for sale. It's a beautiful set. I'd say above average condition, not excellent or mint. It's above average condition because some players on a team, maybe one or two players, have some writing in pencil. Their batting average or their ERA is on the top of their card. So that is my disclaimer on that. The set has been played. I've noticed some cards are a little bit soiled, but on a very lightly. That's why I'm playing these games, so you can, one of the reasons I'm playing these games so you can actually see the condition of the different cards and the different teams, so you say what you're buying. And remember, this is your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history, reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. And that's the news for what's going on that I know of right now. And this is CP Cards and Dice saying thanks for stopping by. And I will talk to everybody else. Limited gyro sauce in that 82 season, by the way. Limited gyro sauce on the 82 season. And I would recommend you keeping the gyro sauce away from your tabletop when you're rolling the dice. Take care, guys. This is CP saying adios, amigos.